And good evening. This is City News at 6. We begin with a developing story in Kamloops tonight where a member of the Canadian Snowbirds has been killed and another has been hurt after a plane crash earlier today. Now, we have a crew in Kamloops. We will check in with David Zura coming up a little bit later on here in the show. But what we can tell you is this happened just before noon today, and it was all caught on video. Here's a look at what happened and a warning. It's pretty shocking to watch.
Yeah, and that's their engines that you hear.
I can't see.
There they are, they're off the ground.
Jumped out though.
Now, we're going to show that to you one more time here. The video appears to show two snowbirds taking off from the Kamloops airport. This happened just before noon today. They're side by side right as they leave the runway here. A bit of a slow start towards the takeoff here. But right before the two planes separate, you'll notice that one of these planes will make a nosedive as soon as they hit the air here. As they leave Kamloops Fulton Field here, the takeoff here towards back into the air. The plane on, it's the right here, but as the camera moves over, you're going to pay attention to the one on the left as it continues to gain some air there. It suddenly, for whatever reason, makes a nosedive shortly after taking off. Pictures on social media also show a plume of smoke coming from a nearby residential area that's not too far away from the airport. Now, the Snowbirds aerobatics team was scheduled to make a trip from Kamloops to Kelowna today as part of Operation Inspiration. The scheduled start was delayed because of rain and low visibility. Operation Inspiration began in Nova Scotia earlier this month and features the jets flying over cities across Canada, hoping to boost morale as Canadians continue to struggle with the COVID-19 pandemic. This is a look from video that our affiliate CFJC News in Kamloops sent to us earlier this afternoon. You can see police tape is up in the Brocklehurst neighborhood of Kamloops. A large section has been blocked off here as emergency crews stay on the scene and investigators try and piece together exactly what happened. And this is a look at the location of the crash scene. We have a map here to show you. It happened in a residential area, as I mentioned there, in the Brocklehurst neighborhood. This is just east of the Kamloops airport and just north of Trunkill Road. It's a very residential area on the north shore of the city. Not too long ago, we heard from Kamloops Mayor Ken Christian, and he spoke to the media about what happened earlier today.
We're a military town. We have a great relationship with the 419 Squadron in Cold Lake, Alberta. And so this accident today really shakes us to our core, but we will respond to it in every way that we can to support the Canadian military as well as the women and men in service.
Now, we can confirm the victim of the crash has been identified as Captain Jennifer Casey. She joined the Snowbirds in 2018 and served as a spokesperson for the group. Before that, she was a reporter and a producer with News 95.7 in Halifax, a Rogers radio station. Jennifer grew up in Halifax and graduated with a degree in journalism from Dalhousie University. We're going to hear more from the mayor of Kamloops and the fire chief as well coming up in just a bit. But hundreds of people saw what happened in Kamloops earlier today. One of those people is Corey Pelton. He lives in Kamloops, and we spoke with him on the phone earlier this afternoon.
We were just out going around, just trying to find something to do. We noticed there's a lot of attention on the airport, so we pulled over, and we noticed the Snowbirds are still in town. So we kind of set up at the end of the runway, and there was a bit of a delay because it was rainy, and so no one really knew what was going on. And then we kind of saw the jets were starting to taxi onto the runway, so then we went over to the end of the runway and we sat there and we were watching, and they took off, and it looked perfectly normal, and the one jet kind of flew away from the other jet, and it just looked like they were kind of putting on a show or whatever. I've never really seen fighter pilots, so I didn't know what they were doing, but it did a complete left-hand barrel roll and pointed straight towards the ground. And even after they ejected, I don't think anyone really realized what had really happened. I ended the video right there and jumped in my car and went over there to make sure, and I noticed there's a pilot on the roof and went over to the house. And as I got to the house, there's a couple walking out of their backyard, and I asked them if there's anyone else or any animals. They said no, that was it. It didn't look like his parachute came out properly. He definitely came straight down on the roof, and that's not something anyone wants to have to deal with. But I mean, when you see someone that needs help like that, you definitely have to go over and give it a shot. I'm very proud of the community and how we all responded with that. It was quite humbling.
Now, just yesterday, the Snowbirds put on a show high above Kamloops. This is video from their flyover on Saturday afternoon. As we mentioned, the Snowbirds aerobatics team was scheduled to make a trip from Kamloops to other places, including Kelowna in the BC interior today. As part of Operation Inspiration, the scheduled start was delayed because of the weather. There was poor visibility, low visibility, and rain earlier today. Operation Inspiration began in Nova Scotia earlier this month as jets fly over Canadian cities to try and boost morale as a lot of us continue to struggle with the pandemic.